Your mom got one? Yeah. Can I take a look at that real quick? Is there more?
You sure you didn't do any doctor?
Sorry about that.
Yes.
There we go.
That was a little tighter than the other.
I have nothing to say.
That sounds like Dan. You know, I like him.
Every morning he has coffee, everybody carries out your
Your first round, Tim. Say one more.
Yeah. We all went down on the way to the house with that pictures, you know.
Are you okay, honey?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, we got all the rock. He's a big helper. Oh, he is. He's a good guy. Yeah, oh, he is. I was teasing him, I'm gonna go out this morning. Saturday, walk up towards the house, they had his coffee. And of course, he left big footprints. And he was coming out his house, and said, you know what? I'm in for this here.
There's this letter.
Oh, shit.
He was so. Oh, Al's here?
Well, I signed on specifically for the interior.
So it's even though this is red light, right? Too much.
Have you heard anything? Just let me know.
He's really
He did, he finally took her. Okay. I think he won one a couple days
Yeah,
ago.
see?
Somewhere.
What did you call?
I had no idea, I didn't know he was going. Thanks, guys.
I know, I can't.
Thanks for keeping me at the loop.
Do you think your cable has
But I think you'll be back
anything to do
next
with it?
weekend. He wants to go roving, was the last thing I heard.
What does he do?
Bull riding.
Few spots in there.
Have you ever seen anything on
Bull riding?
something on my Facebook and
I
YouTube?
know, he's getting towards the end, I think.
I know
he's
prior
fine.
this morning, he didn't have any power.
But he's still got some left.
Called Sarah, and tell him to.
Now, once you're done, you're done with a lot of patients. Your body's so broken. He's had quite a few. He hasn't had any of that work career yet. He's got cadaver parts in one knee. That was supposed to be the other. Then he's had punctured ribs, broken jaws, arms, and legs. It's more of the mental part that he's losing now. He gets to just like himself mentally.
Posted.
Then I realized
He
it
must
was
have
not
pulled
the
himself out of his brand new.
But you couldn't answer it, it had no screen on it. So,
Anyway, we took it into Billings.
Still didn't know that he was.
Yeah, I would like
Went to that test place.
if you've got any.
See if they had a phone or battery or something like that.
I had one and he put right in the charger.
Did some sort of a.
Oh,
So there's just one more, no, there's two more.
I can't stand it.
Two more chairs.
I have one more chair.
For the clerks. Yeah.
So we didn't have to spend money on it. What's the matter?
We're gonna have to send.
Come sit here on the bench.
But he did say that was not like the third or fourth one.
More than one. Good.
S7 or something, it's an old company. And it's always worked really good for me, really likes it.
Especially when I'm sleeping.
And more than one for the city council. Lauren and Josh.
Yeah.
Did you plan on filling that tonight?
You have 5 minutes to read that.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
It said it can cost more than 15 feet. Without.
Wow, we got a lot to cover tonight.
If we're gonna use the alternate route, that the excavation problem.
So I guess that was the part I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure they explained to them that it was.
But if we go in, yeah. Would you like it?
I got it
There.
one at the house. Yeah, because I come up with some ideas today off the other one.
According to the top of that. We should have enough time. If it's not, but that should work. We're talking about
I'll do that.
this is
pretty sophisticated. I can understand it. She also is doing it.
You have 5 minutes to read that, right?
That's for sure.
So.
They're supposed to be. You might be sitting in the back.
Probably somewhere.
There's a network.
Right, is that how that's what, because we haven't seen it.
So yeah, so I guess the map that I have.
I think the judge uses the.
So I guess, so the staging area is.
Yeah.
As a kid and kill on.
Yeah, their access. There's two tracks. But this one, but up here, you've got that little walk. It doesn't have a bridge on it. So what yeah, is that you said you didn't know coming up from this side. Yeah, so.
And I can't seem to get a straight answer.
Well, they need to, yeah, that's.
Calls and you don't know.
I saved your favorite seat.
I see that. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hi, chaps.
Hi, guys.
That's 50 feet.
That clock was like 5 minutes slow. I changed it today, but it's
Yeah, it is a little slow.
It's already being slower, so I don't know. Maybe use your batteries again. It's always the clock in here or something.
Just go all the way around. Down to that.
I think it's been around.
You gotta have it according to what.
Run out.
There's two seats right there.
You can. I didn't know how many people were gonna, every time I do a budget talk, there's nobody here. But I can make more too, so maybe I'll say tomorrow.
I've been through this.
I don't need that.
Oh. I can always have one tomorrow for anyone who wants to get one from the lady's contact
I got
That turkey is so funny. He walks around and struts all day. He doesn't eat, he doesn't do anything.
Hold on,
Still might be a conflict.
Okay, there you go.
Pretty sure. No, but
Yeah, he just can't get it. He's out there though.
Who's there?
Josh.
Josh.
No.
Two more. You have to blow this wall out.
yeah.
You should go that way. Less to mow.
Showed that.
By getting something in
I
right.
know.
Especially that thing where you.
I don't like. Did it still in the chair that said, wait, I'll wait, then the agenda.
I put all of the chairs in hard to find.
I was gonna say, there's one here and there's one in the back row here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll just call it to order. Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I would like to thank everyone for coming tonight. First order of business, I would like to ask the council if they would consider a change in the agenda. And that would be to move Sheridan Flemets up to underneath the sheriff's report. Is that agreeable with you guys?
That's fine.
Okay. Well, I'll start off with the sheriff's report. Josh?
Ready?
Yep.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I know you're not here to see me, so I'll be quick. So every month we do a report real quick of what we're doing here, for those of you that aren't regular attendees, but 107 hours of time spent here, 10 of that hours was on casework and the rest is just their patrol time. The deputies got to spend a couple hours every week of their shift here, so there's plenty of deputies that work all the time, so that's why you see them at all different times passing through. So 13 of us, including myself, and I try to put time in over here too, so that's why you see different cars, different people, all different times. Not a lot going on in from February 13th, from the last meeting until today, that we were involved in. We did have one corner call I came over and took care of. We had a alleged theft that never was followed through on the report, so you guys will have this, the council has this, and it just gives a general public view of the calls of service. So we try to hit the high points, the theft, everyone gets worried about. This one was basically a neighbor dispute, and they never followed through with actually filing a report, so it was not investigated. There was a mountain lion reported to our office, that in turn was turned over to Fish and Game. I don't know what they did with it. Typically, they don't do anything with it if it's not causing problems. The same as grizzly bears, and up in the Red Lodge area in Joliet, where I live at, it's pretty common. So if you do see it, you can report it. That information will be passed on to Fish and Game, and then they choose what to do with it. So, but you'll see that in there. A couple traffic stops, school checks. We work with the school on a few things, and that's really the basic part of it. So, if there's not any other questions.
I do.
Josh?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Josh, I've got a question on the blocking of the alleys. Is that something you guys can enforce?
So yeah, I mean, that part of the agreement is that we deal with ordinances too, not just state laws. But to do that, we have to have a complaint. So it can be the mayor, it can be Public Works, it can be our own observations. But if there's tree branches or people blocking actually public accesses, you know, we just need to know about it. You know, we can come over. Same as dogs and all of that. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
There is some blockage that I'll get with Tim and have him give you the particulars.
Yeah, I mean.
But, I mean, it started out as being a blockage, I think, because of the flood, and then it just never got cleared
fixed.
up, yeah.
No, we need to keep there's a reason there's alleys.
Yeah.
Public service or the first responders aspect of things, so.
Yeah, I want to know about this money that was taken out of water and sewer, how legal that is, and to do, and especially when there's nepotism involved.
Yeah.
I
Well,
want to know if you had any follow-up on that for us.
Well, and like I told you, Marge, so Marge brought it up at the public meeting. What I'll talk very briefly about is there's a complaint been filed about flood reimbursement or something along those lines. If it's so it's in the very early stages of investigation. So just because it's an allegation doesn't mean a crime has been committed. So anybody can complain about anything. So it takes us time to sort things out.
Okay.
It won't be this week, it won't be next week, there's many other things going on. What's done is done, right? So we will look at that and then we will report.
Well, I was told by the mayor, he came to my house, that could be paid back with the FEMA money. And because we don't have a big guy in our town, I thought you were, I don't know if you're resigning or what, that was legal. So that's why I asked tonight.
That's why there's attorneys. I investigate it, get the facts,
Okay.
and we turn it over to attorneys.
Okay,
And then at the end of the day, that's what court's for.
okay,
So I don't know if it'll get to that point. There might not be any criminal element. You may have other issues you have to deal with, FEMA, state, but not law enforcement. On the
Okay.
criminal side, that's what people don't realize. You know, there's a criminal side and there's a civil side to things.
right, I was just told by Helena
I'm telling
to go to you.
You
Yeah.
did, yeah. And everyone tells you to go to the sheriff, because that's what we do. So, but what we do is we basically, anybody can file a complaint. An allegation, you can say anything about anything
Okay.
you want. What it takes then is time for a deputy to look into it. Is any criminal law been broke?
Okay,
If it hasn't, then we're out. Then it
okay,
becomes either a civil issue or somebody else's problem, but it's not a criminal law, and that's what we do. So we
Okay.
investigate crimes. So it will take time to look into that, may or may not happen, you know, that we take it any further, and if not, then a finding will be released through the attorneys. The town needs an attorney, I know that's whoever the town attorney is, the county attorney, people will work on it. We're not trying to make anything worse for this town, you know, but things need to be done right, we all know that, and we have a job to do. We will do it, and really beyond that, you know, because it's an ongoing investigation, we won't be able to say much.
okay, thank you.
I mean, I won't be able to tell you next week any updates. It's,
I was going to ask
You filed a
because I
complaint.
heard that this week, so.
we filed a
okay.
complaint, we did, it's under investigation, and until we're done with it, it'll, you know,
Thank you.
somebody will release it, but it might be months, just so you know. Okay?
Mhm.
Yep.
Was this money approved by the council or just one person?
We're not gonna discuss this matter because it's under investigation.
We've got a mayor that's supposed to be a trusted
I
servant to
understand
the
that.
community.
We're not
I'm a
gonna discuss
tax-paying
it.
citizen.
We are not gonna
That
discuss
money
this.
does not belong paying wages or
We're not
volunteer
gonna
work.
discuss it.
We cannot
I
discuss
would
it.
ask
Our
you
attorney
to
has
step down,
told
Mr.
us not to discuss
Nottingham. You're not doing this town any good.
that. You have your.
Beneficial for Mr.
First of all,
this is-
Nottingham and his family.
This isn't,
That's enough.
this isn't public comment.
This is not public comment, so let's just
I
keep it down.
have the right of free speech.
There's a place for
There's
this.
a time.
Is there a
Yeah.
place
Yes.
for
There
it?
is a place for it.
Okay, you'll hear me then.
Okay.
And I will just back that up. I can tell you on any criminal case, they should not comment. We don't comment, attorneys don't comment, anybody for the criminal side of any investigation. You can public comments all you want, that's procedure.
Okay, Josh.
But
Thank you.
don't expect anybody to comment
Yeah.
if they're being accused of something on the criminal side. That's just,
Well done.
that's 101, yeah, even on from the law enforcement side, so. Right?
Thanks, Josh.
I'll be around, thanks.
Thanks, Josh. Okay, we're gonna hear from Sharon Flemets with the Stillwater Conservation District. And she has with her tonight Tyler Martindale
Yes.
from the, I believe, USDA.
Yep.
They're gonna talk a little bit about where we're at with flood response and flooding and that kind of stuff. So turn the time over to Sharon.
Did we move this up because of time constraints? Is that the reason?
I have a long
Well,
drive back home.
Okay, good. All right,
So,
that's what I
appreciate
wondered. I
Yes.
wondered,
So
thanks.
I live over on the other side of Columbus, so.
Very good.
So it's okay if I sit?
Yes,
Okay.
sit, talk.
The Carbon Conservation District has been out and been trying to do what we can. NRCS has been out here with us. We've done lots of site inspections since the flood, trying to figure out what we can do. We have a little bit of a game plan. We just have to kind of figure out how else we can do and what other help we can possibly get for you guys. Right now, the town was awarded EWP money, which is Emergency Watershed Protection, through the NRCS. And the Stillwater Conservation District is the actual sponsor for it. At the time of the flood, Carbon CD did not have an active SAMS. So the Stillwater District went ahead and sponsored both Stillwater and Carbon counties to get the money down here locally. So we've been out and we've been doing assessments since the flood.
Yeah.
So it's Tyler, he's one of the engineers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'll let you.
Well, I guess I would point out that, as far as as Sharon said, we've set aside or been able to obtain some funding, but that basically, we just now got it,
Yeah.
last week, really.
Yeah, last
We
Monday
wouldn't
was when we
have
were
all
able
the
to sign the contract with NRCS. So
Yeah.
we've known about it, and there's 21 new projects in Carbon County that have been awarded this, but are still, none of them are under contract yet. There's a total of 50 projects between the two counties that we're managing, and we only have a few manpower to, and so many hours in the day to try to get everything done to make all the requirements. Because just like everybody else, we have the requirements too for permitting. So there is no easy way through this, so.
Yeah. The funding, that we have basically, is, we have to have, some supporting design work done, completed, and approved to execute any of that. And, the other thing that we should probably say is it's a cost share program up to a certain amount. 75% from the federal government
Of construction.
of construction costs via the conservation district, 25% from the local, whoever we're working with.
Mhm.
The landowners,
The landowners, yeah,
in most cases.
in most cases, dish company, whatever. So what we're doing right now is trying to, Tim took us to a couple of places that were, where the water appeared to come out of the river. We're looking at there's hydraulic models and things that were developed for floodplain, determining flood elevation. So we're looking at those to see, we basically verified that that's, not that you didn't see it, but, it's easily seen on that these are the low spots, and we're trying to come up with like some sort of emergency plan to put in place to basically, should the water appear to be like it's gonna come up and come out, like the milk comes off quickly or something, that we'll have a plan to move forward to try to at least stave off the flooding in the early, to do that for this year while we're moving through design work and permitting. Yeah, for the long term.
So right now, there is, I've applied on your behalf of a couple of grants. One was denied because they can't have two at one time, so we have to close one out, and hopefully we'll be able to do that tomorrow. Then I would just go and reapply again to get more emergency funds, because we can use the EWP funds to do this, but then if we do, it takes away from the long-term construction. So I'd really like to see emergency funds for the Band-Aid and keeping the EWP for the long-term solution.
Makes sense.
So it's not a quick process with any of this, as many of you probably already know with permitting and government agencies, but we are trying to do it as fast as we can. So I was thankful that we were able, because I didn't think that the second round for carbon was gonna get funded. So it was great to hear that we had 21 more projects that did to help, so we can help more. So we just have to, so right now I got every engineer from here to Billings to Bozeman working on plans. And that's something else that we cover in there. We cover up to a percentage of the engineering cost. Plus I have the backup, the grant that looks like went through for, to help with planning as well, because engineering is not cheap. So, and then hoping then we can probably do an RG to help with long-term. So EWP can only be used for protection.
Up to what was there prior to the storm, the flood. So, you're only protected up to a certain level. We can't increase that level with our funding. So,
So we're protected to the 25-year flood event is what we can do. So,
Now, when we're talking long-term, is that 6 months down the road, a year, 2 years?
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I mean, since the flood, we have one project at 90% done. So it's, time went this time of the year is, wasn't ideal. I wish we had more time. But it took a while for engineering for this. Each case is different. If we already have engineering going on, or we have some kind of data from before the flood, then that makes things go a lot smoother. If permits were there and riprap was there, but it's gone now because of the flood, that makes it pretty simple and easy to get through.
Well, and this is a more complex problem, so it's not gonna be
Multiple
a
places too.
fast thing, you wanna do the right thing, so, I think you know, there's certain things that are it's kinda simple, well, that's what we do. I don't know that we necessarily have that here. So we would wanna, you know, make sure that there's plenty of, we're not just throwing money into somewhere, and your money into somewhere.
So what agencies do you work with?
With?
Yeah.
I work for the USDA, Department of Agriculture, NRCS, which is, you know, just.
So the
subset.
decisions that you make are solid and steadfast and nobody can overrule them?
Well, we're not a regulatory agency at all, so,
But they know how to
yeah, I mean.
design and communicate with the agencies to
Yeah,
make
yeah,
the
so
projects happen.
if, you know, we still have to go through permitting, just like you guys do. And, yeah, I mean, we end up in the same boat as anyone else does, talking to them and to the permitting agencies and asking why the thing that we came up with doesn't, they don't want it, they don't.
And that
agree with
prolongs
that.
the
Yep.
time it
Yep,
takes to get things
exactly.
done.
So the
Yeah,
difference we have is that we've been working with Army Corps of Engineers.
That was one of
They've
the
been coming
agencies I
down.
was wondering about.
Yep, so they've been coming down once a month for a whole week and staying with me between the two counties so
So
that we
you-
can get these addressed and that we're taking them on site. They've been to the problems here, I think 3 times that I know of since the flood to evaluate, and they've sent me some reports that they've done. And I've been sharing that with Army Corps of with NRCS here so that we can come up with a game plan.
Yeah, good.
So,
yeah, we're trying to work together with them as much as we can and
Yep,
figure out who's got the best
and floodplain,
tools
yep.
to do something.
And I know one of the things that we talked about today, when I was visiting with Sharon earlier today, was a project manager. That would probably facilitate this and make this go a lot better. Any of the council would like to volunteer? I mean, it's an unpaid position and probably require a lot of hours.
Yeah, I don't have any hours to spare.
Unfortunately, I'm in the same boat Nate is. I work for a living and I'm not retired, so I would probably have a hard time devoting the hours that it deserved. So I would say, what about you, Bill?
Can I make a suggestion maybe on this?
Project manager?
There's a couple people that are either retired, you know, or have the time to facilitate to this. I would think it would take some time.
Right.
I would check in the community for somebody who's retired that has the time to facilitate to
Who
it.
in the community
I mean-
would like to volunteer?
I was gonna say, put a post up and allow it to everybody versus just who's sitting here.
Yeah,
We
I
can,
mean,
yeah, we can put a post
I
up
mean-
and see if we can get a, you know, project manager that would be willing to do that.
the reason I say that is when they did the flood deal, Giesecke used to work on that flood deal, you know? I don't know if Chris Koloff would be interested in doing it. I mean, Chris is pretty sharp, or, you know, you might have to go out of town to get
Well,
somebody
and
that
part of
It's a
the
challenge.
issue- the town